wrong one here. Let me close that out. And here we are. Okay. So I just wanted to go over a couple things here in the review. You're going to have this. You're going to have the formula matching and then the actual full review as well. So I just wanted to kind of remind you a couple things before you go and do the formula matching and before you try the full review. So there's going to be 9 questions on the test. Read the questions carefully. There's keywords in the question that tell you what formula to use based on its title. We have 6 formulas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 9 questions. So some questions don't have formulas, but most of them do. Yeah. And if you can't pick the formula, you're out of luck. So be very careful. Again, we've talked about these bottom 4. We worked on that yesterday a bit. We're going to continue to work on it today with choosing the right formula. But don't forget, we still have simple interest and annual percent yield as well. So I wanted to remind you about simple interest. Again, with the formulas, you have to read the question. And if it goes blah, 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 simple interest, guaranteed to be simple interest and nothing else. And in fact, again, it cannot be simple interest if it does not say simple interest. So once more, read your questions very carefully. It has to say simple interest for you to use I equals PRT. Just be careful. So remember for these ones that you're going to write your variables out and determine which one gets the question mark. I will tell you on your test, you will have 2 simple interest questions because, again, they're so easy to work with that we can plug into them differently and possibly solve for a different variable. So this one goes, what simple interest, hey, right away? That tells me I'm using I equals PRT. If it does not say simple interest, you cannot use this formula. Read carefully. We got I, P, R, and T. Let's keep reading here. What simple interest rate is needed for 6,700 to earn 1,904 years? So I want you to take a moment and see if you can remember to try it on your own. Which variable gets the question mark? And then see if you can fill out your other variables. This one's tricky, guys. 6,700 and 1,900. They're very easy to mix those variables up. So read carefully. Be careful you know which is which. So pause the video yourself since I'm just doing this as a video. Okay, so it says, what simple interest rate? This means R gets the question mark, not I. I is simple interest in dollars. R is the rate. Now it says 6,700 is earning 1,900. So here's what this means. 1,900 is the interest because you earn interest. 6,700 is what you're starting with. And if T is 4. Again, really common, especially when you're given both I and P, to mix those up. So just be careful. You earn interest. This is I. So from here, we can recall that we're going to plug everything in where it goes and then just do what we need to do. Sometimes we won't have to move stuff around, and then other times we are going to have to move some stuff around. So let's plug this in. We got I is 1,900. P is 6,700. I'm going to put this in parentheses. R is still just R because, again, R is the question mark. We don't know what it is. And we have T is 4. So we know that we can go ahead and simplify this. We're going to have to get the R by itself, which means we need to move stuff over. But we can go ahead and multiply out the 6,700 times the 4 so that we only have to move one thing instead of 2. So these 2 multiplied together is 2,600, whatever it is, R. Good. And then we know that this is 26,800 times R. So to get rid of that, we should be dividing. R equals, I got 1,900 divided by 26,800. Okay, so again, this is 0.0708. But because it's a rate, 0.07 I will accept. However, this is 7% because R, again, is a percentage rate. So on number 2, notice again, how do we know we're still using this formula? If you read number 2, how do we know what formula we're using? It says blah, blah, simple interest. Guaranteed and only guaranteed, again, you will not use this formula unless it says simple interest. You will only use this formula if it says simple interest somewhere in the problem. So we're going to do the same thing. Try it one more time. What variable gets the question mark? And then fill the rest in. Go ahead and pause the video and try it. Okay, so how much simple interest? That is I. Notice again, what simple interest rate versus how much simple interest. Those are different variables, I versus R, yeah? Starting balance of 690, that's the principal. That's the definition of a principal, starting balance. 3 is T and 0.045 is R. So same thing, we go to the formula, we plug it in. I stays put because I has the question mark. And then we have everything over here. We've got 690, we got 0.045, and we got T. So this is an easy one because I is already by itself. Over here, again, our R was not by itself. We had to move things over. It's possible, again, depending if you're solving for I, that you can go straight to the calculator, 690 times 0.045 times 3, 9315. Because, hey, the variable is already by itself. So again, like I said, on your test, you will have 2 of these. It's not necessarily going to be solving for these variables, though, so be careful. Attack each question as if you've never seen it before. On your test, it's not a guarantee that you're going to be solving for I and R. It could be different variables on your test. Okay, so annual percent yield, I wanted to put an and here, and compound interest, just to review these. So annual percent yield is here on your formula sheet. It's the second formula. And then these 4 are our other compound interest formulas. So if somewhere in the question it goes blah, 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 compounded, that only narrows it down to those 5 formulas. Again, APY, and then our 4 compound interest formulas. So that only narrows it down out of our 6. Compounded just means it can't be simple interest. Again, compound interest and simple interest are opposites. They're different. You cannot use the same formula. So from there, the question specifically has to say annual percent yield in order to use that formula. Even if you see the word yield in the question, it doesn't guarantee you're using that APY, annual percent yield, formula. So here's what I mean by this. This first example says Sally has an account with an APR, that's our annual interest rate, of 5% compounded quarterly. What is her annual percent yield? Hey, there we go. This is what you have to do. Now we're using that formula because it says annual percent yield. So try that one real quick, actually. Let's copy that formula over for annual percent yield. 1 plus R over N to the N minus 1. Go ahead and plug it in and see. Remember that, again, our answer is going to be a percent. It's going to come out of our calculator as a decimal, but then we want to write it as a percent. So go ahead and try that. Okay, so we got 1 plus R is 0.05. N is going to be quarterly is 4 times a year, right? To the 4 minus 1. So make sure you plug that in correctly. Fix it if you can already see you did something wrong. Okay, so we get 0.0509. Now, the reason why I'm doing that many decimals is because, again, the whole point is because of compounding your interest, your yield, what you actually get, is going to be different than your APR, if you remember this lesson. So you want to write your answer so that you show your APY is different than your APR. This is, if I times this by 100 in the calculator, this is 5.09%, and that's how I want to write my answer, at least. Because, again, I want to show that the APY is different than the APR because of compounding. So again, it has to say annual percent yield specifically in order to use that formula. Notice in this example, it goes, Sally has an account that yields 4% interest. I know technically they should not be using this word. Some of the problems were written this way from the district. But notice it doesn't go on to say anywhere annual percent yield. It's not even asking for that. It's asking how much money would she have in 6 years. Yeah. If it does not say literally annual percent and yield, it's not going to be that formula. So this one here is not the APY formula. And we can actually do this one real quick because, again, because it says compounded and because it's not asking for APY. There's 6 formulas. One is simple interest, one is APY, and then we have our 4 just plain compound interest formulas. So yes, this does say compounded, so it's going to be one of those 4 because it's not APY, right? So what I want you to do, I have this here for you. If you would just finish your recording a video, you're good. I'm just finishing recording a video, but you're good. Don't mind me.
Wait, sure?
Yeah, it's fine. Okay. I'm almost done. What was I saying? So again, I have this here. I just copied this slide over. If you still need to copy this down, if you never did, you might want to copy at least the process and the names of the formulas. It's kind of a pain in the butt to copy the whole thing down. But this is going to be one where we have to figure out, is it a B equals or is it a P equals? And then is it a single or is it a periodic deposit? So start off with, is it a B or a P equals based on what the question is asking? So you can pause the video and see, would this be finding the balance or finding the deposit? It says how much money would she have? This is a B equals. That is the definition of a balance. So that takes us down this road. And then we need to figure out if it's single or periodic still to get the right formula. So find the word deposit in the question, read the sentence it's in. Does it seem like it's a single deposit or is it a periodic deposit? Pause the video if you need to. This is going to be a single deposit. If she deposits $5,000 into the account, and that's it, right? It's not saying she keeps doing it, so this is a single deposit. So using our flow chart, that's the formula you would have used. P1 plus R over N to the NT. And we can do this one real quick here again as well. You're going to be doing this on your review, but go ahead and take a moment. You got P, R, N, and T. Pause the video, try this whole question, get your variables, and then we'll check and see if you got the right answer. Okay, so P is 5,000. R is 0.04 for the interest rate. N is for compound, for quarterly. And then T is 6. So we got 5,000. 1 plus 0.04 divided by 4 to the 4 times 6. Very careful not to get your variables mixed up here. 1 plus 0.04 divided by 4 to the 4 times 6. Okay, you should have gotten 6,348.67. Okay. So again, I just wanted to review a couple of those things here. Like I said, you can go back and pause the video if you need to record this slide. I would highly recommend it. It's really helpful for choosing the right formula. But from here, you're going to go on to the formula matching, and then you can go on to the full review.